The Bunzarelli Show.
If you've been paying attention, it's been a weird couple weeks for the Bunzarelli Show. Last week we tried a new live broadcast system, and we accidentally released a show. And instead of just taking the show down, I put it out as a bonus show. And that's why you got that Return of the Jedi revisit between scheduled shows. You got an extra show, so there's a bonus for you. So I'm not going to take it back, but just not much going on. The night I'm about to start doing my last show about Infinity War, the Venom trailer dropped. So interesting things to say about that. And had I known the trailer was going to drop, I would have lined up a co-host and had some, was able to bounce off. But really looking at it right now, I'm giving you my first initial thoughts because I've literally had a prepared show and just seen the Venom trailer before I launched this, and it's a little Ghost Rider-esque. And when I say that, it's like I'm looking at it and I'm impressed and wary at the same time, because it looks like they captured everything about Venom, and they may have successfully removed Spider-Man from Venom, and really looks like the direction you're going, because I don't see a spider on his chest. And these are my first initial thoughts. I don't see a white spider on his chest. I don't see any web slinging happening. So maybe it is possible to do a Venom without Spider-Man. So this, of course, will discount my Venom theory, which hasn't been disproven. So it could still happen. And we're going to find out in 4 days with the release of Infinity War. If you go down the list of characters, and we're days away from this, so I'm going to make some quick analyzations and kind of go down the... I've compiled a list and a couple notes about some of the key players and what could happen. So there's going to be some ramifications of Infinity War. Somebody's got to go. You can't do this. Kevin said it. We've been doing a 4-part, almost micro series about Infinity War. The journey to Infinity War. We've talked about everything Marvel, but a couple cliff notes, and Kevin had said somebody's got to go. So I look at all these characters, and I've compiled this quick little list and said, where are these guys going to go? So let's look at the top of the line is Iron Man. And when I say top is that movie started in 2008. Iron Man launched the whole MCU where they said, hey, we're on to something. It was their B-list characters, the Avengers. They had already sold off Spider-Man and the X-Men. Marvel Comics, when they were looking at bankruptcy, and Spider-Man and the X-Men, of course, took off first, and they're like, well, what do you got left? We got the Avengers. And Iron Man, they found that good mix of whatever, and it was just, they knew they were onto something, and they knew they were ready to build on the Avengers thing. But because of Iron Man, Tony Stark is 10 years of the MCU, and it's really the 10 years of Tony Stark as Iron Man. So you have to imagine he's probably the highest paid actor. And he's also, you look so far, the record of playing a superhero role has been Hugh Jackman. I believe it was 13 years of Wolverine. And actor-wise and even character-wise, Iron Man might be out of his end of his road. And what I'm saying is I think Robert Downey Jr. has mentioned a couple times, like, well, I don't want to be doing it too long where it's sad. I want to go out my own terms, like Hugh Jackman did with Wolverine, because if you look at Logan, it was granted the best Wolverine movie of all time. It brought everything to a good circle, which is a real personal story. And I kind of have mentioned before that Iron Man 3 almost wanted to be the end of the road for Iron Man, and it just never happened. There's been like 4 movies since Iron Man 3, but maybe this is the perfect time, because when you bring all these characters together, he come full circle with his relationship with Captain America, kind of a little full circle with his relationship with Peter Parker, Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man. And it might be the time, a good opportunity. Like I said before, that with this Infinity War, is that the actors don't want out. Everybody line up, who's in, who's out. But this is where we can make it happen. So I'm very curious to see, and I think if I jump to Spider-Man, I don't think what's happening is going to impact him too much, because he's going to play his role in this Infinity War. And really what I'm excited about is seeing Spider-Man out of an element that we never had before, because in that Sam Raimi trilogy, and even the, and in the second trilogy with the Andrew Garfield trilogy, the Mark Webb trilogy, it's been like, we've never had the opportunity to put Spider-Man in this kind of Avengers-like scenario with this outer space and this alien stuff. And Marvel has the way of making like the science and the magic all mixed together, and we buy it. So I'm really looking forward to that. So if Iron Man dies, it might be the ramifications are more seen in Spider-Man, where he loses that father figure. I'm also kind of seeing, because it seems like we're seeing the same footage from the same scenes and different parts of it. We keep getting the New York / space scene with Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Doctor Strange, and we're also getting this. I'm sorry, there are three things, because we get the Guardians of the Galaxy / Thor thing going on, and then we have the Captain America / Black Panther, Hulk, Wakanda thing going on. So I'm hoping there's some scenes that we're not seeing, and there's some sets that we're not even, for the sake of surprise, aren't even going near. But I've not seen evidence of Captain America and Iron Man reuniting, and now we have seen the Iron Man suit. The Hulkbuster armor. But now here's the thing is, and it was so funny because, and you'll have to forgive me if this is common knowledge, and all of you guys are going to give me like a resounding duh, but I didn't realize until a good friend had told me. He said, "Bro, it's Banner. It's Banner in the Hulkbuster armor, because he's going to be afraid of turning back into Hulk because of the Thor thing." And I'm like, holy shit. Like, why did I not think of that? And it made so much more sense, because you see those few minutes of him working on the Hulkbuster armor, and you see those aliens that are not Chitauri, but whatever Thanos' new alien like henchmen are. You see them tackle. You see scenes of him tackling the Hulkbuster armor, and then later you see Hulk. So yeah, it's probably Banner in that Hulkbuster armor. So what I'm saying is I'm very curious if there's going to be a resolution to this Iron Man, Captain America thing, because they seem on opposite ends of the spectrum. I don't know when everything comes together and how these things. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot not shown by the trailer, so kudos to Marvel for not revealing too much and kind of leaving us with just like the different remixes of the same scenes. And I'm really looking forward to see Spider-Man out of the normal element that we're used to seeing him in. So speaking of that, so if you go back to these, if you go down the list, so I covered the big three, like Captain America. I'm not really sure his fate in this. It's a possibility of him dying, but I don't know if his story's been fully kind of told, and he's, as far as, I don't know if he's at the end of his road as comparing him to Tony Stark / Iron Man. It's only because of the possibilities, and it's almost more interesting now as these characters, we've seen more and more of them, the idea of Falcon or Bucky, a.k.a. the Winter Soldier, taking on the mantle of Captain America, and those are the interesting things to see. So that's just, I don't know. I don't have any predictions when it comes to Captain America. I'm just saying if they go that road, it would be very interesting. So when you go to Thor, it's weird because I'm thinking Chris Hemsworth's pay scale might not be as high, because so far his movies have been kind of always in third place when it comes to the big three. But Ragnarok just blew everybody, like just changed the whole game, the way they rebranded the character and everything, and refreshed Thor and made Thor just really just finally. I'm tired of looking at him with the cape and the long hair. He's just so ridiculously, blatantly Thor. It's like, it's nice the character refresh. But Loki might go. And the reason why I think is two things. Loki's story has to wrap up one way or another. Loki either has to die the villain or the hero. But I don't know if we could do any more of this. Loki's good, Loki's bad, Loki's good. He's been a very polarizing character, but it might be time to end the road with Loki and really see, is he going to, like I said, is he going to die the villain or the hero? But I can't do another he fakes his death, comes back, and he's kind of good, but then he's bad, and it's good. It's like, okay, I think Loki needs to wrap up, and I think this is the time to do it. As far as Hulk's concerned, they've never dug too deep into Hulk when he's entered this Marvel Cinematic Universe, but there's some interesting possibilities. And, they've shown a little bit. There's many iterations of the Hulk. We kind of got a glimpse of the Savage Hulk in Age of Ultron, which I've actually recently kind of rewatched a little bit just to catch up where the Avengers last left off with the big three, the majority of them together. But there's some parts of the Hulk that haven't been explored. And the current struggle with Banner and the Hulk that we've learned a lot of in Ragnarok, that he was actually stuck as the Hulk for 2 years. But it brings the question is, there are other iterations of the Hulk. And the one that I'm looking at is when Hulk's kind of jogging along the side of Black Panther and Captain America, leads me to believe that it's really a Hulk that's in control. And there's an iteration of the Hulk that was first realized by, it was Dale Keown and Peter David. Dale Keown being the artist and Peter David was the writer. And they had realized a version of the Hulk where it was complete Banner personality and just in that giant Hulk body. And it would be very interesting to see that. And there's another iteration of the Hulk that's the Gray Hulk, which is a total third kind of gangster tough guy personality of the Hulk, but smart. But like I said, like a little thuggy kind of version of the Hulk. It's called the Gray Hulk. And these are things I would like to explore. And because of the possibilities of Banner's struggle with the Hulk and the ramifications of Infinity War, I really would like to explore that. Unless you're just going to move forward with the Hulk the way he is. As far as Doctor Strange's concerned, this is going to be his time to shine, and we see really what impact he has. As far as I'm concerned about Doctor Strange, you could talk and talk, but can you walk the walk? So we're going to see if Doctor Strange is a master of this element or he's out of his element. I mean, obviously he gets over, he's either taken prisoner in one scene by some underlings of Thanos's, and that's all we really know. But he seems when it comes to Iron Man and Spider-Man, in that little circle, he's kind of taking charge of the situation, much like he did in Thor Ragnarok, where he seemed... So I'm very curious to see that, where Doctor Strange is. Guardians of the Galaxy, I said this again with Kevin, is because of James Gunn's success with them, and they've kind of got their little own following of themselves, I don't believe there's going to be any serious ramifications for the Guardians, except maybe Gamora and Nebula because of their, relationship with Thanos. But I don't see anything else getting affected as far as they are, because I believe James Gunn is kind of like the Rian Johnson of the Guardians of the Galaxy, where he's going to make the shots of who dies and who doesn't. Really cool stuff to look forward to, and we'll see. Like I said, if you've been listening, the Bonzarelli show has been all Infinity War for the last 2 months. It's kind of nice. We had that little... Maybe it was for the best. We had that little palate cleansing with the Star Wars show last week, but the next show you hear will be the Infinity War review, and it's 3 days away from this show's release, which will work out good because I kind of like it when the show's a little week out after release, where everybody's had their chance to see it, because I always put the spoiler warnings on, but I want the show to be accessible, so I like the idea that a lot of people had seen it before the show is actually released. So and when we see it, I'm going to make sure I got some, the usual players in there. I'm sure Kevin's already got his tickets, and he's probably, going to be the first guy in line seeing it. So we'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Thanks for listening.